So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This late Wednesday afternoon, it is very nice outside, just about 60 degrees here in Montvale, but inside at the Michael J. O'Brien Court in Pascack Hills High School, it's a very controlled around 65, 70 degrees here, and we are ready for our first of two Bronco matchups today. It is the boys basketball Broncos, starting with our junior varsity team as they take on the Cliffside Park Red Raiders. Stephen Huang in the middle, and it was Barreto de Sa for the Raiders, and it goes Cliffside's way. Here is Matt Vivar, who will give it over to David Aldaz. He'll give it back to Nick Ortiz, who puts one up and cannot get it. Goes down the hills. Here is Nadell, who gives it up to Alec Frischer, number 14. Gives it over to Wright. He puts one up and gets it. So Hills draws first blood, takes a 2-0 lead. Here comes Vivar up the court. Gives it back out to Nick Ortiz, over to Muhammad El Hindi, who pulls up and can't get it to fall. Carmelo Ambrosio brings it down. And he'll give it over to Nadell here. Number 5, the starting point guard this evening. He gives it over to Wright, into Frischer now. And out to Ambrosio. 3 from the wing, no good. Wright tips it back up, tips it out to Ambrosio. And now over to Nadell. Nice crossover, gives it back out to Carmelo Ambrosio, and now back to Nadell on the wing. Got Frischer in the corner and gives it to him, now up to Wright up top. Driving in, nice spin move, puts one up, can't get it to fall. Goes back Cliffside Park's way. Muhammad El Hindi once again brings it up. Goes over to Matt Vivar here. And now over to David Aldaz, who drives in with a nice pass, a nice few passes. It ends up in the hands of Ortiz. Now out on the wing with El Hindi. 3 is no good. Goes back to El Hindi, now in the corner. And over to Ortiz, who gives it back out now to Vivar. Crosses over, drives in, and is going to be called for a travel here. So Ambrosio inbounds to Nadell. Gives it over to Frischer. And now Huang, and now it is Wright who's got it. Over to Nadell. And now Ambrosio, who gives it out to Huang, and now Nadell, who crosses over, gives it out to Wright. Corner 3, no good. And it is Cliffside Park who takes it up. Here's David Aldaz. Big block there by Ambrosio, and he gets the rebound as well. Crosses over, gives it over to Nadell. And Nadell still looking for somebody. Now gives it to Frischer. Frischer back to Nadell here, crosses over, looking for a way in, gives it out to Wright on the wing. Into Huang, who puts one up, can't get it to fall, and it's rebounded by the Red Raiders here. Up comes Nick Ortiz. He gives it over to El Hindi. 3 from the wing, no good, goes out of bounds. Here is Nadell, who brings it up the court, gives it over to Wright. Into Frischer now. Stuck, gives it out to Ambrosio. Ambrosio out to Frischer. 3 from the wing, no good again. And now Aldaz takes it up. It's a nice pass to El Hindi. Layup does not fall. The 2 after the rebound is no good. Another rebound down to the ground here, but it goes back to Hills. Huang gives it back to Nadell, and they'll reset. Here's Ambrosio. He gives it out to Huang for 2. It's no good. And now El Hindi gives it up to Aldaz. Makes a spin and ties it up. All tied here at 2. And so Nadell brings it up the court. Gives it over to Ambrosio. Now it is Stephen Huang. Back over to Ambrosio on the wing. Into right. And it's going to be a foul here on Nick Ortiz. His first and the first foul of the game. As in comes now Andrew Lukin for number 5, David Aldaz. As Nadell looking to inbound here for the Broncos, gives it all the way out to Huang. And now Nadell. Nadell gives it over to Ambrosio here. Crosses over, tried to give it to Wright, but gave it to the Raiders here. Layup is no good from El Hindi. Whistle. Foul's going to be on Nadell here, his first and the first team foul for the Broncos. Inbound coming, it's Nick Ortiz taking it. And Ortiz gives it out to Vivar, who can't make the 3. Gets it back, though, after the rebound by Barreto de Sa. And a big steal by Nadell. Can't get the layup. Rebounded by the Raiders. Here's Vivar. Gives it out. Wide open corner 3, no good, and Nadell gets it. Nadell up to Alec Fisher here. Gives it back to Huang. Back to Fisher on the wing. Back up to Nadell. And now Ambrosio. Back over to Fisher. Gets the screen. Gives it over to Huang. Oh, stolen there by Vivar again, spinning around in the presence of 3 Broncos. And now gives it to Lukin. Out to a lot of people. It ends up in the hands of Vivar. He gives it back over to El Hindi, and now Lukin again. He gives it out to Desa. Back over to Lukin here in the corner. Fisher in there, and a foul going to be called. It will be on Alec Fisher. Second team foul and a first for Fisher. 2 minutes to go here in the first. In comes John Raptolopoulos for Mohamed El Hindi. Ooh, big spill there from Vivar. And Nadell with a big steal and a good job to keep it in. Gives it back to Long and back to Nadell. Crossing over. Nadell waiting. Now gives it over to Ambrosio. Back over to Wright. Oh! Takes the fall and it goes the other way. Ortiz will bring it up. Gives it over to Raptolopoulos. The 3 is no good. Fisher gets it. Now in double coverage, gives it out to Nadell. Spinning around with a minute to go. Fisher over to Wright, back to Fisher. Puts one up, and good. Broncos take a 1-point lead, or a 2-point lead again. And now it's Vivar who takes it up. He gives it over to Raptolopoulos, back to Vivar, now back to Ortiz. Now it's Lukin, stolen by Fisher. He lost it, and now Fisher takes advantage and is going to be fouled. 2 shots coming in. The foul's going to be on Ortiz, his second. Two shots here from Fisher, 44.6 to go. Makes the first to take a 3-point lead. Fisher makes the second, and it's the Broncos now with a 4-point lead here. It is Raptolopoulos, gives it over to Vivar. 3 from the wing, good, and that will cut it to a 1-point lead for the Broncos. Now they get the ball, though. Nadell brings it up. 30 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Over to Ambrosio now. Wong setting the screen, now over to Nadell. He gives it to Frischer, now to Ambrosio. Now it is Frischer here, 10 seconds to go. Ambrosio over to Huang, takes the long three, it's no good. Rebounded by Cliffside Park. Up the court, foul on Ortiz here with 0.1 seconds to go.
We can clear that because nothing's going to happen at 0.1, so we can clear that. The foul's on 10 white. We can clear that, guys.
All right, foul's going to be on Carmelo Ambrosio here, the third team foul for Hills, and the first for Ambrosio. It's 2 shots coming for Nick Ortiz. Misses the first. If he makes this, we're tied. And he misses both. 6-5 the score at the end of the first. And we are ready to get back to things here, as it will be an inbound for Pascack Hills. The Broncos, they lead 6-5. Ethan Beebe is in with Tyler Lazarus, and he'll take it up the court. Lazarus over to Jake Polsky now. He gives it back over to Beebe. Back over now to James Foley. He gives it to Connor Onikian. Into Beebe, back over to Onikian on the pass from Foley, and now in the corner to Lazarus, back to Onikian, gives it out to Polsky. Now it is Lazarus again, trying to drive in, gives it back out to Beebe here. And Onikian, over to Foley. He's gonna put one up, can't get it to fall. Here comes Raptopoulos with it. He gives it up to Aldaz, David Aldaz, out to Ortiz, now to the wing with Raptopoulos. And now Ortiz puts one up, no good. Tipped out to Vivar here. And Matt Vivar resets, loses it, gets it back. Tried to give it out to Desa, he couldn't get it, and it goes the Broncos' way. Here is Lazarus, gives it up to Polsky, gives it over to Lazarus now, puts one up and gets it. So Hills takes a 3-point lead. And now it is Vivar who takes it up. Gives it over to Raptopoulos, back over now to Ortiz. Now David Aldaz, he's gonna spin around, gives it over, puts one up, can't get it to fall. Another basket there from Nick Ortiz, and that cuts the lead for Hills down to 1. It is Lazarus, tried to give it into Polsky, it was intercepted. Now Aldaz over cross court to Vivar, it goes out of bounds. And now it'll be 2 substitutions, Abraham Tabar and Muhammad El Hindi come in for Barreto Desa, and I believe Matt Vivar here. Onikian inbounds to Lazarus, and Hills will reset. Lazarus over to Beebe. He gives it over to Polsky. Polsky over to BB in the corner for 3, no good. And now Onikian gave it over to BB, who missed one, goes out of bounds, stays with the Broncos.
Go triangle, triangle. BB's now
Lazarus on the inbound, looking for somebody. Gives it over to Polsky. Polsky now to Lazarus. Gives it over to BB, now Onikian. Gives it out to Foley, up top of the key, 5 minutes to go. And now Polsky. Tried to give it into Foley, it was intercepted by Aldaz. Gives it up to Tabar. And now Raptopoulos with it, he gives it over to Ortiz. And now Aldaz. Put one up, no good. Lazarus gets the rebound. Now 5 minutes to go in the half. Lazarus over to Foley. Gives it to Onikian. Now Lazarus with it again. He gives it to Polsky now. Polsky to BB. BB now to Polsky. A foul called here. As Daniel Frusteri will come in. Foul is on Nick Ortiz, his third. As Ethan Beebe comes out, Daniel Frusteri comes in, and it'll be Tyler Lazarus after tying his shoe, who will have the ball on the inbound for Hills. He gives it out to Onikian, right back to Lazarus, and back out to Onikian on the wing. Onikian back over to Lazarus. And he gives it to Polsky now, who gives it over to Foley, loses it. It's going to be fouled, though. Foul will be on Abraham Tabar, 4th team foul. Actually, the 5th team foul for Cliffside Park here, and the first foul for Tabar. 2 shots from the line here for James Foley. Foley makes the first one here. But misses the second, so it's just a 2-point lead for the Broncos here as El Hindi gives it out to Tabar. Back over to El Hindi, almost intercepted by Lazarus. El Hindi puts one up, no good, and rebounded by Onikian. As now Polsky. Out in the corner. 3 is no good from Frusteri. Polsky gets the rebound, puts it up, gets fouled in double coverage. And it will be, I believe, the 4th on number 15, Nick Ortiz. And we're not even at halftime yet. One more and Ortiz is going to foul out. And it might come in these next 4 minutes. How about that? Polsky misses the first free throw, stays at a 2-point Broncos lead. Can he make it a 3-point one? And he can. So the Broncos lead 10-7 here, exactly halfway through our second quarter of action. Now under 4 minutes to go until halftime. As Aldaz, oh, big steal there from Jake Polsky. Crosses over, gives it to Onikian. Nice pass, no good on the layup. It would have been incredible if it went in. Now Raptopoulos gives it up to El Hindi. 3 from the wing, no good. Tipped back out now to Abraham Tabar. He can't put one up, and now Lazarus gets it. Lazarus gives it over to Onikian. Back to Lazarus. He gives it out to Onikian, who gives it out to Foley. 3 is no good. And stays with the Red Raiders here after the rebound. Raptopoulos looking to pass, gives it over to David Aldaz. 3 minutes to go until the half. And Ortiz, lost by Raptopoulos now. And he gives it over to Tabar, as now Aldaz lost it, but gets it back. And now intercepted by Foley. Up on the fast break to Polsky. Nice pass to Frusteri. And this time the layup goes down. 12-7 the score. A 5-point lead for the Broncos here. 2 minutes 30 until the halftime break. Aldaz gives it over to Ortiz. Oh, big screen there from Frusteri. Ortiz keeps it with him. As now Aldaz puts one up and in. So 12-9 the score, back to a 3-point lead. Polsky over to Lazarus here. 2 minutes to go. Lazarus, now Polsky. Now Foley gives it over to Frusteri. 3 is good. From about the wing and the corner there, right in the middle of either. And now it is 15-9, a 6-point lead. As now Aldaz, under 2 minutes to go. Stolen, tipped out by Frusteri. Onikian got it. Frusteri gets it back, and the layup is good again. Timeout here from Cliffside Park, and we'll be back in just about 30 seconds. And we're back here with 1:37 to go before our halftime break. It is a 17-9 lead for the Broncos. I thought it was 18-9. I guess I was wrong. Up the court come the Red Raiders here. It's Matt Vivar who is in, and a few changes for the Broncos. Both John Stewart and Aaron Lee are in favor of, I believe, Ethan Beebe and James Foley. Made layup there from Frusteri, makes it a 10-point lead with about a minute to go. As here is Vivar. Gives it over to Ortiz. Now a nice pass into El Hindi. Gives it out, and now to Barr with a 3. Now from Vivar, it's no good. Lazarus gets it, almost loses it, gets it back, stays in control. Gives it over to Polsky. Now gives it out to Lazarus, covered a little bit with 40 seconds to go. Now Frusteri on the wing. Gives it over to Polsky, who loses it on the pass. Tried to give it over to John Stewart, and it did not work out. Here is Vivar, who gives it over to El Hindi, and back over now to Vivar. Back to Muller. Caden Muller is in. Double covered there, Polsky. Keeps it with him. Some confusion here as one of the referees thought that the Hills coach had called the timeout. No such thing, as now 15 seconds remain in this first half of play. Lazarus takes it up the court, looking to take the final shot. 10 seconds to go, and they'll start going for it. Lazarus over to Stewart. Stewart to Lee. Lee with 2 seconds. Out to Polsky. Long 3 to end it. Almost got it. No good. And so at our halftime break, we have a 19-9 score. The Broncos lead the Cliffside Park Red Raiders. We'll be back in about 10 minutes here.
Talk to my friend a lot. Whatever you want.
Gonna get a sip.
And we welcome you back for our second half of action. 16 more minutes of regulation basketball to go. It is the Pascack Hills Broncos leading the Cliffside Park Red Raiders 19-9. There's a big tip here by Lazarus. It stays with the Raiders here. Muhammad El-Hindi with it. Now in the corner, it goes back to El-Hindi. And now a nice job keeping it in there by John Raptopoulos. But it does go out, and it goes to the Broncos here. Jake Polsky on the inbound gives it to number 12, Ethan Beebe, and he takes it up the court. Gives it over to James Foley. Now Tyler Lazarus has it. He gives it to Polsky, who takes the long two. No good. And now Desa gets the rebound. Andrew Lukin now, but a big steal by Polsky goes out, and it stays with the Raiders. So Aldaz gives it into Lukin, and now El-Hindi gives it out to Lukin now, and back into El-Hindi. El-Hindi still with it, back to Andrew Lukin, and now back into El-Hindi. Takes the two from the foul line and gets it. Now Lazarus has it. He gives it up to BB. Can't get the layup in, and now it is El-Hindi who takes it up, puts one up, and is going to be fouled here. First foul of the half, and it is on James Foley of Pascack Hills, his first of the game. El-Hindi's first is no good. But his second is, so it's 19-12, as now Lazarus takes it up for the Broncos. He gives it to Onikian, who tries to give it out to Polsky, now takes it for himself, gives it out to BB. Now it's Lazarus who drives in. Nice kick out to Onikian. He can't drop the three. BB gets a rebound there. And now Polsky driving in, can't get the layup. Up to Aldaz here, puts one up, no good, and it's rebounded by Beebe, who gives it all the way up to Onikian, takes it out to the corner. Now back to Polsky, back to Onikian in the corner, now out to Lazarus. Gave it out to Ethan Beebe here. Beebe tried to give it to Onikian, goes out, stays with the Broncos. Here's Lazarus. Polsky gonna be fouled. Two shots here for Jake Polsky, and the foul is on John Raptopoulos. First in the half for Cliffside Park, and Raptopoulos is first today. Polsky makes the first, so that makes it an 8-point lead for the Broncos. And he drills both, so it is a 9-point lead for Pascack Hills. Here's Andrew Lukin taking it up for the Red Raiders. Lukin gave it out to Raptopoulos, and now El-Hindi here. El-Hindi puts one up, no good. And now BB Polsky up to Lazarus, very quick, puts one up, and good.
Stops and rebounds. Stops and rebounds.
So it's an 11-point lead for Pascack Hills as Lukin loses it. Has to give it out to somebody. No, it's stolen by Polsky and gives it to Lazarus, who makes another layup. 25-12 the score. Lazarus can't get it off the inbound, goes out of bounds. No, it looks like it'll be a foul here, and it is on Lazarus, his first. The second team foul at a half for the Broncos, as both Vivar and Muller come in for El-Hindi and Lukin, as now Vivar takes it up, drives in, gives it out. And now Aldaz lost it there. He couldn't make the two. And now Onikian's got it. About 5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Here's Onikian, now over to Lazarus. Gives it to Foley now. Puts one up. Reverse layup is good from James Foley here. As now 27-12 the score. And Vivar in the corner, it's Aldaz. He cycles it around to Vivar now, who puts a three up, in and out, no good. Almost tipped back in by the Broncos, but no. Polsky takes it up. Lost it, and it goes to Aldaz. Ooh, tipped by Foley. It stays with the Raiders. Layup no good, and now Onikian gets it. Up to Foley. Travel going to be called here on Desa as Daniel Frusteri comes in for Ethan Beebe and Desa comes off for Abraham Tabar. And now Vivar takes it up. Crosses over. And now Aldaz. Aldaz looking for somebody. Foul going to be called. He got it out to Raptopoulos, but it's a foul nonetheless. Foul is on Foley, his second of the half, and the third team foul for the Broncos this half. Shot that was made by Raptopoulos does not count, so it is 27-12. And here's Polsky, who gets the steal off the inbound. Cannot make the layup. Stayed up there for about 2 seconds and then fell, as now Muller gives it into Aldaz, puts one up, can't get it, and now Foley gives it to Lazarus. Lazarus, now it's Frusteri. He gives it over to Onikian. Three, no good, as Vivar takes it up. 3 minutes to go in the third here. Vivar puts one up and gets it to make it now a 13-point lead for the Broncos. Still a commanding control over this game. Frusteri with it, now Foley, now Onikian, and now Lazarus with it. Foul is on Abraham Tabar, his second. Aaron Lee comes in, Jake Polsky comes off, and it'll be Lazarus who has the inbound. Into Foley now, tried to give it out to Frusteri, but it was tipped and ultimately intercepted. Now Aldaz takes it up. Aldaz looking for somebody, gives it out to Tabar. And now Muller, and now Tabar gives it over to Raptopoulos, puts one up, no good. Lee gets it and gives it back to Lazarus. Under 2 minutes to go in the third. Lazarus. And Vivar going to be fouled here, his first. 3 team fouls each for both Cliffside Park and Pascack Hills. Now Foley with it, gives it over to Onikian. He gives it out to Lazarus, gives it over to Frusteri. 3 is no good, and now Muller. And now it is Vivar who lost it, goes out of bounds, and I believe it's going the Broncos' way, and it is. Frusteri on the inbound, minute 30 to go. Here's Lazarus taking it up. Lee's going to get it. Spins around, puts one up and gets it. So it is 29-14 the score. A 15-point lead for the Broncos as Lee gets the steal, keeps it in, gives it over to Frusteri. 1 minute to go in the third. Foley puts one up and good. 17-point lead for the Broncos here. As now Tabar gives it into Muller and rebounded by the Broncos here. Lazarus gives it to Foley. Foley back to Lazarus now. Over to Frusteri, who bobbles it. Gets it back, though. Stays in control. Spins it around. Now Aaron Lee's got it with a screen from Frusteri. Gives it out to Lazarus. Over to Frusteri on the wing. Back to Lee. Foul going to be called here. Basket does not count. It's going to be a foul on Aldaz, his first of the game. The fourth team foul for Cliffside Park. As Lazarus, now Lee, no good. In fact, I believe it was blocked. But Aldaz puts one up, no good, and a foul going to be called here on Daniel Frusteri, his first of the game. The fourth team foul for the Broncos. Both teams with 4 fouls at this moment. 2 from the line for David Aldaz.
Block out, shoot clock.
Aldaz makes both, so it is a 31-16 game, 15 seconds to go and counting in the third. Looks like Lazarus and co will get the final shot of this quarter. Lee puts one up, it's no good, out of bounds, stays with the Broncos. Red Raiders coach not happy about that call. Nevertheless, it goes ahead. 5.2 seconds on the clock. Lazarus gets it back after giving it out to Frusteri and somehow is called for a travel. As now 3.1 seconds remain. Here is Vivar. Puts one up to end the quarter. No good. Score is 31-16 as we are heading into our final 8 minutes of action. It's a 15-point lead for the Broncos. We'll be back in just a moment. And so 8 minutes remain in this one. Score is 31-16. It's the Broncos leading the Cliffside Park Red Raiders here. It will be Foley who has the inbound here with now Polsky taking it up. Polsky gives it over to Foley. Now it is Lazarus. Lazarus to Frusteri. The three from the wing is no good. And it goes to the Raiders. So Lucan, stolen by Lee, and he gives it up to Lazarus. Gives it back out to Lee. Drives in, gonna be called for a travel.
You good, Lee? You good? You good, 45?
So it'll be Raptoropolis who takes it up for the Cliffside Park Red Raiders here. Just about 30 seconds burned in this final quarter of play. El Hindi now over to Tabar. And now it's Raptoropolis. Now it is El Hindi who has it. Hindi stolen by Jake Polsky. And Polsky. Oh, almost lost it. Now gives it over to Lazarus. Over to Foley now. And now it is Frusteri. Gives it over to Lee. Lee into Polsky. Gonna be called for a travel. Inbound for Cliffside Park here. It is Raptoropolis, now El Hindi. He gives it over to Lukin. A foul going to be called. He lost it, but a foul is called. It's going to be on Aaron Lee, his first of the game. And in comes John Stewart for James Foley. Oh, tipped back out by Frusteri there on the inbound from Tabar, and it goes the Broncos' way. Here's Lazarus back over to Frusteri. And now it is Polsky, gives it over to Aaron Lee. Back over to Polsky now. He gives it to Lazarus. Now Stewart in the corner. Back to Lazarus. Puts one up. No good. Lee tips it back in. How about that?
Come on, Lee.
And now Desa gives it into Lukin, and now up to Raptoropolis, who keeps it with him. Now gives it over to Tabar. And now Lukin gets it. He gives it into Tabar, gets it back, puts one up, no good, and Stewart gets the rebound. So now it is Lazarus who has it.
Come on, Lee.
Lazarus gives it over to Stewart. Three from the wing is no good, and it is rebounded by El Hindi. Takes it up, gives it out to Lukin. Back over to Desa, and he gets the easy layup. So it's Polsky, now Lazarus. Gives it up to Stewart, now into Polsky. Polsky now looking to give it out, lost it. Got it back. Foul is going to be on Tabar, I believe, his third of the game. No, yes, it is on Tabar, his third. The inbound from Polsky. He gives it out to Frusteri now, about 5 minutes to go. Stewart gives it over to Lee. And now Polsky. Lazarus puts one up and got it. So 35-18 is the score. 5 minutes remain here in the fourth quarter. Here is Raptoropolis now who has it. And now Lukin. Got it on the layup. As here's Stewart. 4 minutes 30 to go. Now Lee. He gives it over to Polsky. Polsky out to Frusteri. And now Lee. He gives it out to Stewart. Puts one up from the corner. It's no good. But Frusteri brings it down. 4 minutes to go. Polsky now Lee. Back out to Polsky. Polsky gives it back to Lee. Three from the wing and good! And subs coming in, Wright and Carmelo Ambrosio for Tyler Lazarus and Daniel Frusteri. Oh, wait, no. It's a timeout here. So we'll be right back in just a moment. And we're back now with just under 4 minutes to go. Nadel, Wright, Frusteri, Stewart, and Ambrosio are the 5 on the court for the Broncos here. It is the Red Raiders on the inbound, and Nick Veloso gets it. Layup is no good. That was from Matt Vivar, who gives it out to El Hindi here. And now Aldaz put one up. He got it. So it is 38-22 to score. Now Ambrosio. 3 minutes 30 to go. Tipped back. Frusteri gets it though. Drives up. Gives it over to Nadel. Now out to Ambrosio here. He gives it over to Wright. And now Wright going to be called for the travel as Alec Frischer and Stephen Huang come in for Daniel Frusteri and John Stewart. And with 3 minutes to go, that seems to be the final personnel change for the Broncos, as Veloso gives it up to Aldaz. Oh, is this going to be another travel? No, it's going to be a foul here on, I believe, Frischer, his second. And it is 16 foul for the Broncos, one more, and that'll activate the bonus. Oh, tipped out. Ambrosio gets it. Broncos take control, and now Frischer in the corner gives it out to Huang on the top of the key. Going to be called for a travel. Another seemingly phantom travel there. I don't know what that was. And now it is Vivar. Puts one up. Can't get it. Huang tips it back to Wright. Gets control. Now gives it up to Ambrosio. Ambrosio gives it to Wright. 2 minutes 30 to go in the game. Wright with the screen from Huang tried to give it over to Frischer, and he didn't even have a chance of hauling that one in.
Number 5, 3+2.
Nick Veloso takes it up with 2 minutes 30 seconds to go in this one. It is the Broncos who have a 16-point lead as Aldaz. Now it is Desa, and now Vivar here. And Ambrosio, now it is Nadel. Puts one up and gets it.
Number 5. Delay number 5.
So that makes it an 18-point game. And here's Vivar, kicks it out. 3 good from Muhammad El Hindi. And now the sub coming in, Fleckner for Nadel here. Minute 45 to go. 40-25 is the score. The Broncos commanding this one pretty much from the start. And now they just got to hold on for about the final 2 minutes. Fleckner takes it up. Now it is Ambrosio over to Fleckner. Back to Wright. Inside. Puts one up and gets the layup. 42-25 is the score. As now Aldaz almost stolen by Fleckner. He had a hand in there, but Aldaz can't make one. Fleckner keeps it from going out of bounds, even though it would have been the Broncos' ball anyways. Here's Nadel, and now Fleckner, who gives it out to Frischer. Frischer, now Ambrosio. Gives it to Frischer again, now into Wright. Puts one up, can't get it. Huang gets the rebound. Spins around, puts one up, he can't get it. Goes out of bounds, and it goes with Cliffside Park as in comes Michael Wishart for Wright. 56.4 seconds to go here. As now Vivar gives it over to Veloso now. Takes the long 3, it's no good. And now Fleckner gets the rebound. 40 seconds to go, up to Frischer. He gives it over to Ambrosio now with 30 seconds to go. Back over to Frischer. And now back to Ambrosio again. Ooh, tipped. But Fleckner gets it anyway. 3 from the corner is good. And now 20 seconds remain as the Broncos take a 20-point lead. Ambrosio with a hand in there. Doesn't matter. Vivar keeps it with himself as 10 seconds remain here. They'll dribble it out. And that'll be it as the clock winds down. Final layup there, unguarded, made by Nick Veloso. And the final score with that layup will be 45-27. The Broncos in control of this one pretty much from the start. They take the win. And so ends our first of 2 today. Coming up in just about, I believe, 30 minutes or so, we'll have our main event of the evening, our Varsity Broncos as they take on the Cliffside Park Red Raiders. But for now, this is Matthew Merlino. We thank you for watching, and we hope you join us later tonight